I'm Bill Jasper with the New American Magazine, and we are back in Paris with New American foreign correspondent Alex Newman. Alex, good to be back with you.
Thanks very much, Bill. Good to be back with you.
Now, you had a disturbing situation that developed regarding the Chinese government there at the COP21 in Paris, the UN summit. Tell us about that.
Yeah, disturbing is kind of an understatement. Actually, I was really uncomfortable and kind of shaken about it. I'll give you kind of the brief summary version of it. We have the article online, so if readers want to know more, they can check that out. But basically what happened, David Lewis, my colleague, and I, we walked over to the Chinese booth and we requested an interview. We said, hi, we're with the New American. We would like to do an interview with your delegation about your position on these global warming negotiations. And the guy was pretty friendly. Actually, we talked to a few bureaucrats, and then they took us to the higher level bureaucrat. And he was pretty friendly at first. He said, "Oh, okay, who are you? New American? Okay." He asked us about our business cards. You know, what does that freedom shall not perish mean? And he actually asked about perish. And he said, "Yeah, let me see what I can do, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can." About an hour after that, David and I are back working in the media center, and I turn around, and not more than 10 feet behind me is the exact same bureaucrat wearing the same button, snapping pictures of Dave and I on our computer. And so that was very bizarre. I did not dare to go confront him, so I went out to the front. I had to leave the conference center. I was going to file a police report with the French police. Come to find out, the French police are powerless in the COP21 center. Apparently they ceded this territory temporarily to the United Nations, and so the United Nations police are in charge here. So I asked the French anyway, all of them were super nice, the UN security and the French security. I guess they've had experiences with this in the past, and I found out after this incident that this has been a regular occurrence with the Chinese delegations at UN summits. They love to harass and intimidate and persecute even Chinese dissidents coming to the UN Human Rights Council to denounce China. And of course, China is sitting on the Human Rights Council also. So I filed a police report with the French, and we didn't know the bureaucrat's name, the communist Chinese agent. So the French police summoned the UN police, and they said, "Hey, we need to get the name of this agent so we can file the police report properly." And the UN police said, "Oh, okay, yeah, well, we'll have somebody escort him back in there, and we'll get the name of this guy." And we waited. They were super nice, talking about how great journalism is and how you need to hold the powers accountable. They were wonderful people. And finally, the UN security official who was supposed to escort me in to get the name, he arrived, and he said, "You know what? Sorry, we spoke with our boss and the guys with the government delegation. There's nothing we can do. We can't even go in with you to get the name." So that was that. I argued with them for 10 minutes. So who's in charge here? Can governments do anything they want to? The French police can't do anything. UN security can't do anything. What is going on in there? And finally, I just gave up on that approach. The French police told me to go back inside and see if I could find out the gentleman's name, the communist Chinese agent. And so I did that. I went inside. He actually wasn't in his office anymore. But I asked one of the other people in the office. Actually, we had spoken to this person before. I won't give any more details because I don't want that person to be in trouble. But the person was very kind. I said, the one sitting here is the one I'm looking for. I didn't explain why I needed the name, but she gave the name. And went back, filed the French police report. They brought me some warm French wine. Just wonderful people. Filed the police report. And so that's essentially the situation now. The law enforcement officials concluded that this was most likely intimidation. They said, don't be afraid for your personal security. The UN officials said the same thing. We're all over the place. Nothing's going to happen in here. Don't worry about it. So that put me a little bit at ease. But, we're talking about the government that has murdered more human beings than any other government in all the history of humanity. And so, frankly, I think it's wildly inappropriate that the Chinese delegation can get away with these kind of antics at these UN summits. Nobody here is in charge. And, if we were in Beijing, it would be one thing. We go to China, we understand that the ruthless dictatorship there is in charge. And so, I would expect that there. But right now, we're supposed to be in Paris. They're supposed to value free speech and the freedom of the press. And it's absolutely unacceptable. So right now, I'm following up on the recommendations offered to me by the UN security officer. I've approached the UN FCCC, which is running this event. And they have high-level people on it right now. I'm going to finish sending them the police report in my article once it's done. And, it's not even really for us. We need to sort this problem out for journalists in the future, for activists in the future. It isn't right that a brutal dictatorship can intimidate people even outside of its own borders. My guess is when we gave the bureaucrat, the Chinese agent, our business card, he looked us up, figured out that the New American has a long history of exposing the monstrous brutality of this dictatorship, the mass murder, the forced abortions, the organ harvesting, the persecution of dissidents. And he said, hey, maybe my superiors will be impressed if I go snap some photos, or maybe we'll go. The guy was doing it so obviously that he wasn't trying to hide it. So,
or if he is not himself an intelligence agent of one of their police or intelligence agencies, he undoubtedly has handlers who may have directed him to do so.
I would assume so, yep. And so we actually went back over there today. We wanted to give the Chinese delegation an opportunity to respond before we go out with our story. So Dave and I went over there. Camera's rolling. We have it all on video. And we said, hey, excuse me, is Cao Xinjiang here? And they said, he went back to China. We said, oh, he went back to China. Okay. And then the next one said, no, we don't know who that is, actually. We don't even know what you're talking about. Then they said, oh, maybe he was just taking pictures of other things and you happened to be in the area. And we got at least half a dozen ridiculous lies for excuses. And finally, right when we walked in, they quickly surrounded us. There was a number of communist Chinese agents there. They surrounded us, and one of them quickly got on the phone and was talking to somebody in another language that I don't understand. And after a minute or two, he came back in, he checked my badge, and he said, the New American magazine. And so I don't know if he was talking to his superior or to UN security or what, but we wanted to get out of there. We didn't want to cause a conflict or a scene, so we left our business cards. We said, if you see Mr. Cao Qinchao, please have him contact us right away. We want to know what business he had taking photographs of us, because we're in a free country right now that you don't behave like that.